Hello, Jeff Bicus here, strategy consultant with McFadyen Digital. This is day 2 of NRF 2024. I'm joined by Steve Norris, Vice President of Digital Commerce with Logicbroker. And we're here to talk a little bit about what's going to be taking place in 2024, some of the trends that you're seeing. You guys have made headlines recently with an exciting acquisition of Cortina. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what went down and what that might mean for you in the future?
Yeah, we're really excited about Cortina and the acquisition that we did. We're excited about the technology and the team that's really behind it. They had a really strong presence in the apparel and fashion space, and we thought that was a very interesting niche that they served, and they served very well. So they have customers they work with, like Poosh, which is a Kourtney Kardashian brand, along with some other influencer brands that are part of their program. So we're excited about both the technology and the people, and how this will help us continue to grow us to be the best-in-class dropship and marketplace platform.
Amazing. Well, congrats on the successful acquisition. And do you think that's any foreshadowing of what you might see from a retailer perspective? Do you anticipate seeing a little bit more M&A in 2024?
I mean, I think we saw some M&A happen in 2023, and I think, quite frankly, I think we'll see more of it starting coming into 2024 is what it starts to feel like. I think, we partnered with McFadyen earlier in 2023 to help accelerate some M&A activity that was happening around our joint client, Victoria's Secret. So I think a lot of organizations are trying to figure out, how do I quickly get a return on my investment when I do an acquisition? Because if we looked at this, Jeff, like you and I, when we looked at this like 10 years ago, we would have said, hey, the first thing we need to do is get everybody on the same technology stack and the same ERP and the same view of finance, right? And oftentimes those acquisition activities took years to really be fruitful for organizations. So I think, when we collabed on Victoria's Secret, I think we shared a similar point of view that, hey, some of these acquisitions could really start seeing the benefit of selling through victoriassecret.com without having to change their internal tech stack, right? And I think people are starting to think a bit smarter and about maybe a bit differently about how they go about starting to show real shareholder value in the early innings of an acquisition.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to think about how far we've come along over the last decade or so, where dropship or even a marketplace model was thought of as a range extension. And now we're seeing some more niche or specialized adoptions of those models. As you mentioned, Victoria's Secret integrating a recent acquisition very quickly into their existing customer experience. It allows them to go out there and recognize some proof points with their customers almost immediately. So that's really fascinating. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. So what else is happening at Logicbroker? What might we expect in 2024? Is there some exciting stuff coming up on your product roadmap?
Yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff happening. I think you were at our Connected Commerce event when we launched our product onboarding center, and we've been through a couple iterations of that now. We're seeing retailers and suppliers really start to see a tangible benefit. I think, when you think about starting a dropship program or a marketplace, it's really only ever as strong as the people that can participate, right? And I think the challenge is, all the various different marketplace and dropship technologies that are out there have done a really nice job of making their platform accessible for the retailer or the marketplace operator, but maybe haven't done such a good job of enabling the sellers and suppliers to participate as a part of it. So we're really focusing this year on how do we make it easier and remove the friction for somebody to sell to participate as a part of a marketplace. So that's kind of an area that we're focused on. And I think, at the end of the day, we were talking a little bit earlier, when we look at 2024, I think people are confused, right? When they think about selling an expanded assortment or they think about selling an endless aisle, they don't really know these terms, dropship and marketplace, right? And I think we've been just as an industry maybe thinking about it wrong, right?
Okay.
We're saying, hey, well, is this a dropship program or is this a marketplace program? I think the market's changing a little bit, and I think we've, in some cases, have bastardized that term marketplace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When people come to us and say, hey, Logicbroker, we'd love to start a marketplace on your platform, a lot of times we're talking about dropship, right? And you probably run into that too in some of the strategic sessions.
Absolutely,
right? Are you seeing that too, Jeff?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time with our clients early on, and they'll come to us and they'll have a preconceived notion of what they want to do. They want to get in the marketplace space, and we'll spend some time with them assessing their business needs and requirements. And it doesn't always end up that the marketplace model is the most ideal fit for them. Sometimes it is dropship. Sometimes we have to standardize their definitions and how they're thinking about those two models, how they can be leveraged together, that they're not mutually exclusive. Having those options of a 1P operation, a dropship model, and a marketplace model gives those organizations some flexibility and autonomy to graduate sellers to a vendor, to potentially, making it into their stores and on their shelves if they have stores. So yeah, we spend a lot of time helping educate our clients and prospects.
Yeah, I think it would be, I think it's interesting, as a SaaS multi-vendor commerce platform, how we've helped folks really be able to make the decision about selling expanded assortment or an endless aisle without necessarily having to make the decision about the financial model and the selling model up front, right? So a good example is our customer, Full Beauty Brands. They're in the women's apparel space. They run both a dropship and a marketplace platform through Logicbroker, and have used that, to your point, like having like a graduation process. Oftentimes, they want to be able to sell this expanded assortment of sizes, expanded assortment of apparel and accessories, but they oftentimes say, hey, we want to be able to start somebody that we don't know necessarily the sales history, or we don't know a lot about the types of products that they sell. We'll start them as a marketplace seller and see what we can learn about them, right? If I want to expand into selling gold bracelets, but I don't know, is it 16 karat, is it 32 karat, do these numbers even exist? I don't even know that, right?
Exactly.
They'll use that to recruit sellers for their platform, and as they start to see success, they'll start thinking about, do I promote these people to dropship, right? Do I allow myself to maybe get a bit better margin, right? Do I do a commit on inventory with them? Do I do a collab with a specific supplier where I'm doing like a pre-buy and things along those lines? They start to think that way, and the technology enables them to really do what they want to do from a business perspective and not have to work around the technology.
They can start to dictate where that partner seller is going to live within their ecosystem. They get a chance to test with a lot of different sellers. The sellers have an opportunity to prove themselves that they're committed to the business, they're engaged, and want to help the business grow, and they can get rewarded by becoming a more strategic part of their operations by moving to dropship or ultimately potentially in their stores. So,
absolutely.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for stopping by. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. I hope that the show is going well and that you have a good rest of the show.
Yep, you too.
All right.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Steve.